first annual Governor's Courage Award. From now on, it's going to be the Jimmy Myrick Jr. Courage Award. It's going to be given in his name.
Tonight, inside the massacre, our team with a member of the SWAT team and a doctor, the first responders at the Pittsburgh synagogue, what they saw inside, and the rabbi tonight who was inside and heard the gunman enter, what he said to his congregants sitting in those front rows, and describing how he ran out of time to save those in back. The wife who screamed her husband had been shot before authorities believe she was shot too. Tonight, the alleged gunman released from the hospital and wheeled into court. He could face the death penalty. And now the president is set to visit Pittsburgh. And what the people of that city from all faiths told me about their city, about this country. Also tonight, the Boeing 737 that crashed into the ocean, all 189 on board feared dead. Authorities say the pilots called for help just 2 to 3 minutes into the flight. The horrific scene inside an American high school today, the deadly gun attack in the hallway. A new suspected bomb intercepted just today, and tonight news on that list. It was long. Are there more bombs in the mail? The school bus swept away by flash flooding, and now another system moves in as millions of families prepare for Halloween. And the couple on a cruise who now claim they discovered a hidden camera in their room. What the cruise line is saying tonight.
This is ABC World News Tonight with David Muir.
Good evening, and we are back from Pittsburgh, where we spent much of the weekend. The people in that community had a profound impact on us, their grief, their tolerance, and their strength, even as that community learns tonight what really happened inside the Tree of Life Synagogue, the horror that played out there. Tonight, you will hear from the first responders who raced in to save lives, and the rabbi who tells us this evening he was in the front of that sanctuary. He could only help those in the first few rows. These are just some of the faces of the 11 worshipers whose lives were cut short: a retired researcher, a doctor, 2 brothers, a dentist, a retired accountant, a youth baseball coach. There were others, among them the husband and wife, the woman who was 97 years old. And now we learn there were supposed to be so many children in that synagogue, but they had postponed their class until the next day. ABC's chief national correspondent Matt Gutman leads us off from Pittsburgh.
Police and SWAT teams were already responding when Dr. Keith Murray got the text. Active shooter, officer shot, multiple dead. Dr. Murray said goodbye to his family and ran out the door.
You read that and your veins just go cold with ice. You know, made sure I kissed all 3 of them goodbye, told them I loved them, because you never know what's going to happen.
While the doctor was racing to the Tree of Life Synagogue, Rabbi Jeffrey Myers was inside, hiding from a killer. Moments earlier, he'd heard the gunshots.
Something just innately told me that's a semi-automatic weapon. I immediately announced to my congregation, drop to the floor, do not move, don't utter a sound, be still.
The gunman, who police have named as Robert Bowers, was heading for the sanctuary. The rabbi trying to protect his flock.
The people who were towards the front of the sanctuary, I quickly tried to evacuate them up. Regretfully, there was no way for me to get back to the remaining 8 people that were in the back of the sanctuary. 1 of them was wounded. The remaining 7 people were slaughtered in my sanctuary.
He stayed on to act as the eyes and ears for 911 dispatchers.
I'm hearing people screaming, and it's seared in my brain. I can't erase that tape. I heard one woman, I think I know who it was. My husband's been shot, screaming, and then that was quickly, and then afterwards she was silenced. I know who it was. It was my congregant.
Is that the couple that was killed?
Yeah.
Sylvan and Bernice Simon, they were married in the same synagogue where they died. Minutes later, more SWAT teams on the scene. Dr. Murray right there with them.
Within, 20, 30 seconds of making entry, we actually find this elderly couple who was just kind of hiding in one of the antechambers.
The gunman still in the synagogue as the doctor searched for survivors.
One of my TAC medics found another woman kind of leaning over one of the deceased, and she was very much alive. I just think that she was in so much shock. She didn't realize that she was shot, and I think she just didn't want to leave her friend.
The shooter blasting at SWAT officers, one police officer riddled with bullets. Dr. Murray treating him on the floor below.
One of the other officers drug him out of the room. Someone else removed his armor, took his helmet off, and they carried him down the stairs. So in between him getting shot and him getting handed off to us, 20 seconds. It was amazing.
Finally, the alleged suspect surrendered.
Suspect's talking about all these Jews need to die.
Rabbi Myers later hiding in a bathroom on the phone with 911 the whole time, finally led to safety by the SWAT team.
How grateful were you to see them when they came in?
Immensely. I really thought I was dead. I was gonna hang up my cell phone and make a video for my wife in the hopes that maybe they'd find the cell phone.
Rabbi Myers deserves so much credit for helping as many people as he could. And Matt Gutman joins us tonight from Pittsburgh again. And Matt, the suspect was wheeled into court today, and I know you were right there in the courtroom.
That's right, David. He was brought in a wheelchair. He'd been shot multiple times, but the hospital released him for this court date. But what is perhaps most chilling about the man suspected of committing the atrocity in that synagogue behind me is that he seems so normal in court, chatting with his attorneys, compliant with the bailiffs, and apparently undisturbed completely by the 11 murder charges that he faces. David.
All right, Matt Gutman leading us off tonight. Matt, thank you. Robert Bowers, as Matt mentioned, is now charged with 29 federal crimes. He could face the death penalty if convicted. And tonight, what we've now learned about his past. Here's ABC's Chief Justice correspondent Pierre Thomas.
At that court appearance, a judge decided whether Robert Bowers could get bail. That was quickly rejected. If ultimately convicted, he will likely face the death penalty. The FBI trying to rule out accomplices and searching for anything specific that triggered the attack other than a deeply rooted hatred of the Jewish community.
They tend to be lone actors, and my guess is that's what he is. But you want to make sure. For example, could someone have helped him get an AR-15? What was the triggering mechanism? It's typical. It's really never very much.
On a fringe site embraced by white supremacists, Bowers openly discussed his contempt for Jews. Archived posts from social media also appear to show he was focused on conspiracy theories about the migrant caravan of thousands of people making their way to the southern border.
And Pierre Thomas with us live tonight as well. And Pierre, you're learning more tonight about the weapons that were used.
David, Bowers has no criminal record, so he could legally purchase those guns, including that assault rifle. Police have recovered at least 10 firearms so far, David.
Pierre Thomas with us again tonight. Thank you, Pierre. And in the wake of the massacre at the synagogue, President Trump is now saying the media is the true enemy of the people. He plans to visit Pittsburgh, and tonight members of that community are reacting. Here's ABC's Chief White House correspondent Jonathan Karl.
As the president and first lady prepare to visit Pittsburgh, the White House is making it clear the president does not see a need to tone down his rhetoric.
Does he have any concern at all that his words could inspire or provoke troubled people to do awful things?
Certainly, the president wants, in moments where our country is hurting like we've seen in the last several days, find ways to bring our country together, and we've seen him do exactly that. However, the president is going to continue to draw contrasts.
In his very first comments after the shooting, the president condemned what he called an act of hate, but he did not mention the victims. Instead, he suggested armed guards at the synagogue could have prevented the killing.
If they had protection inside, the results would have been far better.
The mayor of Pittsburgh firmly disagreed.
I don't think that the answer to this problem is solved by having our synagogues, mosques, and churches filled with armed guards. We should try to stop irrational behavior from happening at the forefront.
Later, the president struck a somber tone.
Our nation and the world are shocked and stunned by the grief.
But today, the president blamed the news media for causing anger in the country, tweeting this morning that the press is, quote, the true enemy of the people.
When you say he's trying to unite the country, why is he out there making these attacks?
The very first thing that the president did was condemn the attacks both in Pittsburgh and in the pipe bombs. The very first thing the media did was blame the president and make him responsible for these ridiculous acts.
And John Karl with us live tonight from the White House. And John, as you reported, the president and the first lady are heading to Pittsburgh tomorrow. I know there are many who do feel strongly about this in that community. They're weighing in tonight.
Well, there's one progressive Jewish group in Pittsburgh saying the president's not welcome until he fully denounces white supremacy. In response to that, the White House said the president has repeatedly denounced bigotry and racism in all forms. And Sarah Sanders said the president is going to Pittsburgh to show support for the Jewish community. And she pointed out that the rabbi from the Tree of Life Synagogue has said that he is welcome. David.
John Carl with us again tonight. Thank you, John. And as the president prepares to visit Pittsburgh, we were at that vigil overnight, and what we heard from so many people in that city from all faiths, what they make of what they witnessed there and what they're witnessing across the country, in their words, and this is powerful. It's coming up shortly. In the meantime, though, we move on to the other news this Monday night and the devastating plane crash in Indonesia. All 189 people on board are feared dead tonight. The pilots calling for help just 2 to 3 minutes after takeoff and then plunging into the sea. Crews have been working around the clock, finding only small pieces of the plane. The jet was a new Boeing 737, one of the most popular selling American jets. This plane flying for just 2 months. Here's our aviation correspondent, David Corley, tonight.
Tonight, evidence of the disaster is being pulled from the Java Sea. Parts of the brand new jetliner, IDs, cell phones, and human remains. But so far, Indonesian divers have been unable to find the bulk of the 737 fuselage. The jetliner left Jakarta just before 6:30 this morning for an hour 10 flight to an island. The pilot reportedly asking to return just 2 to 3 minutes after takeoff. Then, 13 minutes in, the plane disappears from radar. Its locating signals stopping abruptly, possibly suggesting a sudden catastrophic event. All this in a jet delivered just 2 months ago.
This actually makes it more of a mystery. Why would a perfectly good airplane go down from 5,000 feet?
The president of the low-cost carrier Lion Air says the jet had a technical issue on its last flight, but it was fixed before this morning's takeoff. The 737 MAX 8, now one of the best-selling jets in the U.S. Families of some of the 189 lost gathered at the airport for any news.
And so let's bring in David Corley with us live tonight. And David, authorities I know are not ruling out anything in this investigation, obviously including terrorism, the possibility at least as well.
Yes, because of that sudden catastrophic event, David. It could have been a bomb, could have been something mechanical as well. Boeing will be involved in this investigation. That company wants to know, is there something wrong with this latest version of its most popular plane, the 737? David?
Our aviation correspondent, David Corley, tonight. David, thank you as always. And back here at home into the deadly high school shooting in North Carolina today. Police say a student was shot and killed during a fight in a crowded hallway. The school was put on lockdown. Frantic parents rushed to pick up their children, and they were held back for a time. It was agonizing for them. Here's ABC's Eva Pilgrim now.
Chaos in a Charlotte area school, students running for their lives.
Matthews PD is advising someone shot at the school. One male student is injured.
The shots rang out just after 7 a.m.
I saw the gun and I had to run.
A student capturing the panic on Instagram. The victim, 16-year-old Bobby McKeithen, rushed to the hospital where he later died.
Conflict began with bullying that escalated out of control.
Police say the shooter, a 16-year-old freshman, surrendered in a classroom. The school on lockdown for 2 hours. Terrified parents told to wait at a nearby church. Emotions running high.
Here we go.
Weaving around traffic, crossing a major highway, marching past police to the school.
And I freaked out because I was like, my child's in that school.
Students streaming out to tears and hugs. David, police say surveillance video clearly shows the fight that preceded the shooting. The alleged shooter is charged with first-degree murder. David?
Eva Pilgrim, thank you. Some 5,200 active duty troops are headed to the U.S. border with Mexico, a U.S. official telling ABC News more than 6 times the initial estimate. Pentagon video showing equipment being loaded onto a cargo plane. Up to 800 troops are already on their way to Texas. They will back up the border patrol, but not engage with migrants seeking asylum. That caravan walking through Mexico still about 1,000 miles away. Another volatile day on Wall Street. The Dow swinging 900 points over the course of this day, closing down 245 points at 24,442. And the S&P 500 did not fare any better, on track for its worst month since the financial crisis, down nearly 10% from its recent high. There is still much more ahead on World News Tonight this Monday. The new suspected bomb intercepted just today and where it was sent. There's also news tonight about potential targets. Apparently, this was a long list. And this question tonight, are there more bombs still in the mail? The school bus swept away by flash flooding. Dramatic pictures coming in as another system now moves in. Millions of families now prepare for Halloween. And tonight, the cruise ship now responding to that new headline, a couple claiming there was a hidden camera in their room. What the cruise line is now saying tonight. A lot more news ahead.
Fact is,